This is episode 5 of your favorite podcast, Recurring Thoughts. I'm your host, Keith Coker, and today we're going to do another SEC preview. When I ended the Arkansas video, I said we're going to do Missouri Tigers, their rivals, so let's hop into it. Last season, Missouri went 8-5, ending in a 38-33 loss to Oklahoma State in the Liberty Bowl. And while it was disappointing for sure to end the season like that, I would say that's a successful season for Missouri. Drew Lock had a decent year compared to the year before, where he kind of lit it up. But he did end up leaving and going into the NFL draft, and ended up getting drafted. So he was a great quarterback for Missouri, but the guy that they have coming up isn't, to me, a better quarterback. In my opinion, I think the guy that they have coming in, Kelly Bryant, a graduate transfer from Clemson, of course, is a better quarterback out of the two. Um, Overall, they have a lot of weapons coming back, and on the ground game, they're getting Larry Roundtree, the third back. He'll be a rising junior this year. He ran for 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns last year, so their ground game should be decent. They always have a pretty strong offensive line, so I expect nothing less than great success on the ground. Last season, like I said, they went 8-5, losing to in their 2018 season, losing to LSU, West Virginia. Um, Georgia by 1 point, of course. I'm looking at the wrong season. Oops. Let's go. Let's go. Scroll back down. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. That was the 2016 season. Last season. Come on. Come on, Google. Help me out now. Uh, they ended up losing to. Let's see. They ended up losing to Georgia. Yes, they did, and South Carolina by 2 points. Alabama. That game was a blowout. They lost to Kentucky by 1 point. Um, they and let's see, they lost to Oklahoma State, so they ended their season 8-5, of course. And overall, the season was, like I said, it was decent compared to the year before. But like I said, this is a new year, so. Coming in, I'm gonna read you the 2019 schedule. August 31st, they play Wyoming at Wyoming. Uh, Next, they'll play West Virginia with a new head coach. West Virginia's new head coach, Neil Brown, who's from the state of Alabama here, out of Troy. Um, Neil Brown is a great guy, and I expect nothing less than success for him at West Virginia. Southeast Missouri State, they play them September 14th. The 21st of September, they play at home against South Carolina. Uh, they play Neil Brown's old team October 5th versus Troy at home. They play Ole Miss at home on October 12th. Vanderbilt in Nashville at Vanderbilt in Commonwealth or in in Nashville. They play Vanderbilt um, October 20 on the 19th, and October 26th they play at Kentucky. November 9th they play at Georgia. November 16th they play at home against Florida, and November 23rd they play at home against Tennessee, and last but not least they play uh, in Little Rock against Arkansas as a rivalry game. Overall, I'm gonna go back through and give my predictions. Um, Wyoming, I see that as a win for Missouri. Wyoming, of course, is a lower level Division One school, FBS school, so I don't see Missouri having a problem with them. Um, September 7th against West Virginia, I see that as a close game, but I see Missouri pulling that out. So they start the season 2-0. West Virginia with a new head coach, losing their quarterback, Will Greer, and David Sills, their receiver. I mean, I just don't see West Virginia being really, really, I guess, I don't want to say prepared. I just don't see them competing as well as they probably could, in my opinion. West Virginia is very talented, of course, but Missouri's new look offense, or their offense with Kelly Bryant, and West Virginia's not so great defense, or at least from the past years, they haven't been great or accelerated, I guess, or better. And I don't know how to find the word for that, but they haven't been that great. We watched them play against Oklahoma. While by all means, Oklahoma was a great offense. They couldn't stop them, and giving up that many points is kind of crazy. So I just don't see Missouri slowing down against them. So I see Missouri winning that game. Southeast Missouri State, that's a win, of course. There's no need for me to explain that one. South Carolina, I believe South Carolina will pull that one out for Missouri's first loss this season. So they'll start 3-1 with one loss to South Carolina. I believe they'll beat Troy. Troy's replacing their head coach, and new head coach is Auburn's old offensive coordinator. Kansas's old offensive coordinator for a few months. Chip Lindsey, great coach. Chip Lindsey's a great coach. I believe he is, but I just don't see him winning that game. Um, though I see them beating Ole Miss for their homecoming at home. That's a good matchup for them. Uh, I see that as a win against Vanderbilt. That's 6 wins. They're 6-1 at this point in the season. Their schedule is very favorable. Against Kentucky, I see Kentucky staying where they are, so I see them beating, or I don't see them staying where they are. I see them trying dipping a little bit, but staying at a somewhat decent level in the SEC East. I see them beating Missouri for giving Missouri a 6-2 record so far. Then they'll go to Georgia, and I believe they'll lose to Georgia. That'll be a 6-3 record for them. Um, then they play at home against Gainesville, or against Florida in Gainesville, or at home. Sorry, they play against Florida at home. I see them losing that game 6-4. Um, they play Tennessee at home. I see them beating Tennessee 7-4, and I see them beating Arkansas 8-4. So outlook for Missouri 8-4 season, not bad, but they finished the same way that they did the year before, back-to-back 8-4 regular seasons, and I couldn't tell you who they're going to play in the bowl game, but um, Missouri's a great team with a great core on offense. I just don't know what to expect from their defense. Um, like I said, Kelly Bryant is a big pickup for them, for the Missouri Tigers, and it'd be shocking not for them to win 8 games next year. Um, Kelly Bryant, the new transfer coming in. Everybody bashed Kelly Bryant for what he did as far as leaving in the middle of the season. I can't knock him for that. I would have done the same thing, in my opinion. Just because, I mean, you're a senior, you're wanting your chance to prove that you can play quarterback. I mean, just like everybody else, we want to compete, right? Trevor Lawrence is a heck of a quarterback. A heck of a quarterback. And I did not see Kelly Bryant beating him out. Kelly Bryant's a good quarterback in my eyes, but he's not going to beat out Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence just won a national championship. Okay? Kelly Bryant got them to a national championship, or came close to a national championship, I should say, and he couldn't finish. So, it's okay. He found a new home in Missouri, and I think he's going to do great in Missouri. Uh, Surrounding him, they had overall they averaged 37 points per game last season, and were ranked number 34 in total offense with first-year offensive coordinator Derek Dooley. This will be his second year, and Derek Dooley brings a new dimension brought a new pro-style dimension to that offense that was lacking before, and not to mention that their quarterback was Drew Lock, who was a very impressive quarterback in the SEC. Um, so overall, I see their outlook averaging a little bit more points and climbing to the top 20s in national or in the nation in total offense in 2019. At running back, like I said, they have Larry Roundtree and also Demaria Crockett and Tyler Batty all back together. That's a three-headed monster, and they're going to be tough on the ground. All three can do different things, and I just see them coming in strong on the ground. They're going to have fun for sure. Um, Emmanuel Hall, the receiver that left last year, he graduated, of course, and he's went to the pros. But they're looking for a new number one. The freshman wideouts, Jalen Knox and Cam Scott, did well in their first years, of course. But who's going to come in and take that number one receiver spot and be that go-to guy for Kelly Bryant? They're going to have Arkansas transfer Jonathan Nance. Um, Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Uh, Jonathan Johnson will be back in the fall, and they're excited about that. Um, while they did end up losing a little bit up front on offense and both on defense as well up front, Terry Beckner Jr., of course, and Therese Hall, uh, they lost those guys, but a lot of the guys on defense will return. Um, overall, like I said, I didn't see them having a great defense. But I feel like Missouri's going to improve year in, year out. They're kind of like that Kentucky team in the East, right there next to Kentucky, in my eyes. Um, and I just see them staying the same and that consistent level, but rising on defense. So, like I said, they'll go 8-4. To redo my predictions again, a win against Wyoming, a win against West Virginia, a win against Southeast Missouri, a win against South Carolina, um, a win against. No, I said a loss against South Carolina. Sorry, a loss against South Carolina, a win against Troy, a win against Ole Miss, um, a win against Vanderbilt. Uh, Man, I'm losing my train of thought. A win against Kentucky. No, loss against Kentucky. Sorry, that'd be their second loss of the season. Third loss against Georgia. A fourth loss against Florida. A win against Tennessee, and a win to Arkansas. So that's my predictions for Missouri. That's my season preview for Missouri. The next team up I'm going to preview is I'm going to just stick with the SEC East and go with Tennessee. We'll preview Tennessee next, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Of course, your favorite podcast has got to end you with a quote of the day. So today's quote of the day is going to be from Norman Cousins, and it says, hope is independent of the apparatus of logic. You don't necessarily need logic to be hopeful. Man, live hopeful, because and you always be positive about the outlook, and look forward to what may happen versus what's not. Because be optimistic, basically is what I'm saying. Be optimistic and hope for the best. Prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. Pray for the best. God does everything for a reason. People trust Him. Okay, that's my podcast for today. It was a heck of an episode. I enjoyed this one with doing the preview of the Missouri Tigers 2019 season. Look out for episode 6. This was episode 5. Look out for episode 6 coming out soon. The final start today at 7:30 on ABC. Pay attention. Let's watch it. Let's enjoy the series, and I'll give you my recap for Game 1. Most likely in episode 6 coming out tomorrow. So be on the lookout. Everybody have a great day. This is Reoccurring Thoughts, your host, Keidre Koger. Peace.